All right. Appreciate everyone coming this afternoon. This press conference is about Damar Hamlin, whom we love. It's about his parents, Mario and Nina, and their extended family. We continue to pray for them during this time, and Damar is and remains our number one concern. I'd like to thank a number of people. We'd like to thank a number of people before we get into your questions, as there have been so many people involved in Damar's situation, and if we leave somebody out, we apologize. First, I'd like to thank the first responders on the field this past Monday evening, and the medical teams of the Bills, the Bengals, and the staff, doctors, and nurses at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center for their work and their care. Terry Pagula, the Buffalo Bills staff, coaches, and players, as well as their families who have all been affected and impacted by this situation. The amount of faith, hope, and love that we saw on display over the last 3 days has been nothing short of amazing. I'd also like to thank the entire Bengals organization, their ownership, and specifically Zach Taylor, his staff, and their players, and going above and beyond and handling the situation the way that they did. The officiating crew that was on the field, led by Sean Smith, and the way that they handled that situation with extreme poise and compassion certainly helped in the minutes that that situation unfolded on the field, in the minutes after as well. Both Roger Goodell and Troy Vincent and their leadership from the league office, as well as the NFL Players Association and Don Davis. Fans of both the Bills and the Bengals, along with the many other fans and organizations that we've heard from over the last 3 days. And then I'd also like to thank you, the media, for your respect and privacy and compassion, again, over the last 3 days as we've dealt with this situation and going forward as well. Finally, and just as important as anything, is glory to God for his keeping Damar and his family in the palm of his hand over the last couple of days, and his healing powers. With that, I'll turn it over to you.
Sean, listening to the doctors today that we were able to talk to on that Zoom call, updating the progress he's made, particularly over the last 24 hours. How encouraging is that? And Josh, you can jump in here too. What's your reaction as you hear that?
Yeah, very encouraging. We've been getting incremental updates. And Brandon and Nate, Brandon being and Nate Bresky, Nate being our head trainer, as well as Tabani. Richard stayed behind in Cincinnati at the hospital. They've been there the whole time. And so my hat goes off to them as well. But they've been giving us updates, or Damar's doctors have been giving our doctors updates, Dr. Bisson here in town. And then the updates have flowed basically through either Brandon and Nate or Dr. Bisson, or directly from Damar's doctors. And the news has been very encouraging as we all are up to date at this point, and just extremely grateful.
Josh, what can you say about the leadership of your head coach when this happened, when Damar collapsed, and ultimately deciding this game should not be played?
Yeah, the way he handled it was he was a perfect man in that situation to handle that type of situation. I can't say enough about what he did, what he said to us in the locker room. Obviously just a dire circumstance that nobody's expecting, nobody's ready for. There's nothing that you can train about doing. Like, you can never put yourself in that situation until it happens. And I want to thank our, Coach mentioned it earlier, but our training staff for going out there, not knowing what's going on, but going through a checklist, working as a single-cell symbiote, like saving his life, and is being on that field. You lose sleep. you hurt for your brother. A lot of shared grief, but to the question before, getting updates and positive updates eases so much of that pain and that tension that you feel. But Coach handled it as perfect as anybody could.
Josh, can you take us through, you personally, but even your teammates as well, the level of fear that you were facing when you were, because it was clear you guys knew what was going on. Can you just share maybe some of the level of fear you guys had?
Yeah. I don't typically like using emotion to answer questions, but yeah, like the scene just replays over and over in your head, and there's, again, it's hard to answer that question and actually describe how, I felt, how my teammates felt in that moment. It's something we'll never forget, but to know that Damar is doing okay, and I know there's still a lot of things and stuff that he has to process and continue to go through to get back to himself. We're just, again, we heard that news this morning, and there's nothing that could have been told to us to bring our day down. We're extremely happy for him and his family. We just want to love up on him. So the next chance we get, I don't know when it's going to be. If we get to see him anytime soon, it's going to be awesome.
Sean, can you give your version of the conversation you had with Zach Taylor, where he said, he quoted you as saying you had to be with your guy at the hospital? If you could just, pick it up from.
Yeah. I caught a little bit of that, and just very appreciative of Zach, and I'll start there. I mean, Zach, the NFL is such a competitive league, and games are so competitive. You spend all week, right, preparing to beat each other, and as fast, and Josh can attest to this, as that was unfolding in those situations, as Josh alluded to, you prepare for things to go wrong in the game as you visualize the game unfolding, just so you're ready, but they're not of that nature, right? They're on the field, they're schematic challenges and whatnot, and so as competitive as this league is, Zach quickly recognized the situation, and when you can engage with the opposing coach, and he and you and Zach and I were on the same page so quickly there. It was amazing that how compassionate Zach was, and his players. I'm jumping ahead here, Vic, but their captains came down to our locker room and met with our team and captains, and just an amazing show of compassion, empathy, love, and it's just so amazing because minutes before that, we were going at each other, and so my hat goes off to Zach and the Bengals, as I've said before. But so it unfolded so quickly, and things have happened so quickly since that point in time, with balancing everything that we're balancing. I really haven't thought back clearly about the steps in order, but I do. When Zach said that, I do recall it. I'd forgotten that, but it brought it back to my mind that after Damar got loaded into the ambulance, I remember thinking to myself, we're going to need some time, we being the Bills at least, and we're so conditioned to a player is taken off the field who is injured, to going right back into that mode, and so I said to Sean Smith, I said, hey, we're going to need some time here. And again, he was tremendous, and then I remember going back to our sideline, had a conversation with Leslie Frazier, and I can't even remember what Leslie said, but he was a help as well. And then I went back to Sean and said, I don't feel good about this, and or something to that effect. And then he came back. He was going to go talk to Zach. Zach comes over. I think as Zach has recounted since that point in time, and then the league was involved, and so we went back to the the league helped in this way as well, saying, hey, it's okay to go back into your locker rooms. And so we headed that direction. And then the way things unfolded from there was really we were in the front of our locker room, not quite out in the hallway at that point, but having conversations amongst ourselves. I think I went in and addressed the team and just felt like overall it was going to be really hard to put them back out there, but I wanted to give them the option to go back out there if they wanted to. And led by Josh and a couple of the other captains, they decided not to go back out there. And so going then from our locker room out our doors to the hallway where Sean and the rest of the officiating crew, as well as Don Aponte from the league, they were there, making sure that they were there for us. And then Zach also walked down outside of our locker room. And I'm not sure what was covered on television or not. So, and then again, the follow-up conversation that needed to happen ensued right there outside of our locker room. Yeah, when Damar's father spoke to us, again, the days have blended together here. So today is Thursday. So yesterday, Damar's father spoke to the team, and really his message was the team needs to get back to focusing on the goals that they had set for themselves. Damar would have wanted it that way, and I'm paraphrasing. And so that includes our game against New England this week. And I think that has helped. And then again today, the news today, as Josh alluded to, was a huge help to getting us back to focused on the game this weekend.
Yeah, and I'd say from a player's view, hearing Mario talk to us, the words of encouragement that he had for us, and I had the chance actually to talk to him Monday night, and the only thing he said was, my son's going to be all right.